this week really has been absolutely incredible with the amount of people that have been going down that are in the public eye. I mean, we have Jesse Smollett, we have R. Kelly, we have Robert Kraft, a billionaire, we have Jeffrey Epstein, another billionaire, leading many people to question what is happening here, because powerful people don't usually go down, and don't go down as fast as they are, because usually the rich and powerful protect and serve the rich and powerful and are under a separate justice system. And that's been the case for a lot of these individuals for a very long time up until now. I mean, look at this news story that just broke today. Just today, we're finding out that cardinals admitted that the Vatican summit, that the Catholic Church destroyed files about all the abuse that they were committing. In Germany, the police conveniently lost all the evidence against two predators that severely attacked over 30 children at least 1,000 times. All that completely lost, which is absolutely terrifying, which we're going to kind of allude to and talk about in this larger case of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, again, very powerful, protected individual, not only friends with Kevin Spacey, Bill Clinton, Harvey Weinstein, David Horowitz, but Trump himself, and also, of course, Trump's labor secretary, that, of course, is facing a lot of scrutiny and a lot of pressure today. And a lot of people make the claim, and I think it's pretty relevant and it's pretty clear that a lot of the people, like R. Kelly, like Jeffrey Epstein, especially Jeffrey, they're able to get away with a lot of the horrible deeds that they commit because they, again, are protecting other rich and famous people that they partied with. They are, quote, too big to fail in the political justice system, up until finally we are seeing some kind of recourse. And this recourse happened this Thursday with Jeffrey Epstein, as we're finding out that a federal judge ruled that the federal prosecutors broke the law in his case. That specific federal prosecutor, of course, being now Labor Secretary Acosta, who is facing a lot of scrutiny and people calling for his resignation because of the plea deal that he gave to this known criminal, Jeffrey Epstein, that is protected by both the Democrats and the Republicans. Another important side note about this case is that this case and this specific plea deal that a federal judge just ruled to be unlawful pretty much was not only signed by Acosta, but also signed by the Justice Department and Robert Mueller as well. So this was agreed upon that. Now, of course, Donald Trump is facing a lot of scrutiny, and we have seen Donald Trump even politicize and weaponize Jeffrey Epstein during his political campaign to be president. In this clip in CPAC when he was talking to Sean Hannity. Can you play that clip, Jason?
Yep, let's bring her right up. Let's find it over here. All right, guys, here you go. This is at CPAC, and for Trump to come out and say he doesn't know much about the situation, let's find out how much he might know, Luke.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
So that was a bullet, and it's just really quick, Luke, but, I mean, he seemed to know not only about Epstein, but Clinton and the island.
Yeah, this is, big inside information that, again, Donald Trump is claiming not to know much about this case right now, and people are calling lies about that. And he's only digging himself a bigger hole with comments like that. He also made a comment in 2002 when talking specifically about Jeffrey Epstein. He said, quote, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." This is a public statement about a known pedophile. He's pictured with him throughout the years. And we have to understand there are some connections here, as even Steve Bannon recently met with Jeffrey Epstein, according to some news sources, coming from, of course, the information that Roger Stone provided. Now, we're getting, of course, a lot of media attention around this, specifically centered on attacking Donald Trump on this. We're even seeing a tweet here saying that there's testimony from Jeffrey Epstein saying during a deposition that, yes, he socialized with Donald Trump, but of course, quote, when he was pressured and asked if he socialized with Trump with the presence of females that were under the age of 18, he, quote, pled the fifth. Now, this is a very damning comment, a very damning disposition. But people have to understand Jeffrey Epstein pretty much pled the fifth on that question on a number of individuals, not just Donald Trump. And the fact that the lawyer in the Jeffrey Epstein case who was going after Jeffrey Epstein publicly stated not so long ago that it was actually Donald Trump that responded to him, that was in Jeffrey Epstein's black book, and corroborated the most out of everyone else listed in that black book in helping him with his case. That's another important element that you need to understand here that contradicts the bigger mainstream media narrative that is being pushed on people. And we have to understand here, Donald Trump did hire and appoint Alexander Acosta, this person who gave him the plea deal. We do have to understand Fox News is not really talking about this larger case as much as all the other media outlets. And at the same time, they are having Alan Dershowitz on, the man who pretty much created this plea deal. And with this case finally coming into light, it's important to understand here, Donald Trump's facing a lot of scrutiny, but so should Bill Clinton, that took a number of flights after ditching his Secret Service on the Lolita Express. And if we're going to cover this case honestly, we need to cover the fact that this is a well-protected Republican and Democratic person who doesn't care about politics, but only cares about power, which is our current political system. Because even with this news coming out and this pressure being put on Trump, which the pressure should be put on all the parties here who are involved here, by the way, not just one-sided here. The case here is also very detailed, where the judge actually stopped just short of getting rid and overturning this plea deal. He didn't do that. And he's actually giving prosecutors now 15 days to confer with the victims that weren't notified of this settlement that happened. Because what we're looking at here is a deal of a lifetime. When Jeffrey Epstein was facing a life in prison sentence, he was given ultimately a half a day in jail per day for just 1 year, when he should have been in jail for the rest of his life with the charges that he was being prosecuted against. This was, again, a very, very, very important case that shows just how the powerful protect each other. And now the only possibility of justice happening on a larger scale here is, of course, if other U.S. attorneys in other districts, if they will take on this case and bring up criminal charges against Mr. Epstein. This has opened up the possibility for this. Will it happen? I hopefully sure hope so, but it will happen when more pressure and more knowledge and more information is brought towards this person. This person needs to face justice. We're seeing some cracks finally be made here. Will it be enough? Well, I don't know. But seeing the mainstream media only jump on this to attack Trump is disingenuous. The people involved here need to be dealt with. The people involved in this larger case do need to face the repercussions of the horrible crimes that have allowed this man to go free. Absolutely insane story. We're seeing the cracks. Will it be enough? We don't know. We're going to be following closely that entire situation on, of course, this YouTube channel. Anything else you want to say about this, Jason?
Well, yeah, I do. There's a few things that I just want to point out here. People have to understand that this has been evolving. This case has been evolving. Okay, so the case he lost just this year, just a few months ago, Epstein had to admit that he had smeared the lawyer, that he had lied, and that the lawyer representing dozens of these women was telling the truth. So now you can go back and see what the was being accused of by these women, and Epstein has now said, yes, that's true, in not so many words. He did so on the morning that jury selection was set to begin on this trial after it being pushed back almost a decade. Almost a decade. Now, this guy wins money, an undisclosed amount, as this is all trending, because we never thought it would trend again, Luke, and it did. The victims went from dozens to over 100 to now hundreds of victims.
And this is another important part. A lot of this information has been hidden from the media, and the major complaint by this federal judge right now is that the details of this plea deal, this deal of a lifetime, was hidden away from the victims. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
No, absolutely, Luke. And when we talk about the little black book and their names, by the way, there is a searchable database of just that black book. But when the lawyer, and props to Derek Bros of the Conscience Resistance, because he actually interviewed the lawyer, asked questions the mainstream did not. When the lawyer talked to Derek, he said there were several of these books. It wasn't just the island, that there were different locations. And remember, this information was actually smuggled out by one of the servants that Epstein had, one of his butlers. That butler is no longer alive, and he actually served more prison time than Epstein himself for leaking that black book. That's how effed up our system is. And to one last point, it is sad that the mainstream media is now making this solely about Trump. Is Trump playing stupid? You bet he is. You heard him. He knew about the island. He knew about Clinton. He was using it as a political weapon with Sean Hannity standing right next to him. Alexander Acosta did a huge, huge disservice to everybody except for the elite when he made that deal in Florida. Beyond that, we don't know what the terms were. We don't know who visited him in the night. We don't know what phone calls he got. All we can go by, folks, is the excellent book by James Patterson called Filthy Rich, where you can see Acosta going really hard, Luke, in the beginning, trying to get Epstein. But by the time it was all said and done, he made a secret deal behind the backs of all those victims and essentially cut the throat of truth in this case.
Yep, and essentially what's happening here is Jeffrey Epstein, I think it's very apparent for a lot of people, most likely is protecting the identities of other rich and famous people who he partied with, and that's why he is too big to persecute here. We're finally seeing some cracks. We're seeing some manipulation around it, but this is bringing out the bigger truth, and that's why it's important to share these messages and share the bigger details surrounding this case so we could get to the truth and to the bottom of it, and not just a bigger smear, not just a bigger political weapon. And hopefully there is some brave prosecutor in Florida or across this country that does take up this case. We could only hope, and hopefully there could be some form of justice in this wide case that, again, has been kept underground for so long, and it's only coming out just now. So crazy, absolutely crazy, Jason.
Yeah, and just to close it out, and then I'm going to hit a super chat or two and then get into another huge story that we kind of alluded to in the beginning. You look at this guy and the amount of wealthy people, the fact that the lawyer for the lawyer that won said that people like Harvey Weinstein slither in the same circles as Epstein. And you talking about other powerful people involved. Well, there is a lot of speculation out there. This was a true honey trap type operation. And a true honey trap is not only, luring somebody in and getting them, but getting them through sexual activities.